November 8th, BYU and UVU hooked up for our second broadcast of hockey this year on the BYU Sports Network, and boy was the rivalry made manifest. Before the game, all sorts of puddles. The compressor that freezes the ice didn't work. They got it to work. Game on. UVU in pink for breast cancer awareness, and BYU 24 seconds in made it 1-0 via Brett Fuller, and they would continue the scoring.
Yeah, right off the bat, BYU jumped right on it and then gave up a shorty right here, right through the wickets of Ben Shapiro. And then from there on, it was pretty much all BYU. UVU got a little physical with the Y, but BYU really turned on the offense in the first and second periods right there. Bo Adams buries a nice one, and pretty much all BYU throughout the course of the game.
Ben Chugart would score, and that would make it 4-1. Zamboni on the ice to the second period. We go. Cougars on top by 3. UVU would get their share of shots, but not a ton. Second period, a lot of minutes in the penalty box, and Jeremy Weiss took advantage of a power play goal. Keith Persevich would score as well, his 4th goal of the season. BYU was up 6-1 in the second.
Yeah, right here is when BYU kind of took it over. UVU started to get frustrated, took a few shots at the end of the period, got a misconduct, and then from then on the game kind of fell apart for UVU. BYU pretty much played puck control in the third period, not a lot of goals scored, and we end up with a BYU win.
Yep, third period, Keith Persevich scored his 2nd goal in a row, 2 for the game, and then Brett Fuller with a nice move. BYU would get another attempt again, and UVU would score late, but it wouldn't be enough. Eric Bowman with the goal. It was 7-2, and that would be the final score. Kevin Schaefer caught up with our player of the game, Keith Persevich.
Thanks, Jeremy. Now, Keith, obviously a big rivalry game. How important was it to go out there and win tonight?
Well, it's Orem versus Provo, so, 2 controls this ice arena, so we wanted to come out strong and prove to them that we are the most dominant team in the state, so we just want to come out hard, get physical, bury the puck when we can, and, show the UVU fans who the real team is.
And obviously there's some tough conditions tonight, but you were able to have a great game. You had 2 goals and 1 assist. How did you feel about your own play?
I got my 2 goals off of my teammates, creating the chances for me, and I'm just burying them. I'm very good and pleasure to play with them. They create the big chances, and as I said, I just put them away.
Okay, thanks, Keith. No Back to you.
So final score, BYU 7, UVU 2. According to Keith Persevich, they're the real team. And BYU with 51 shots on the night. And take a look at the penalty minutes.
Yeah, almost 2 whole periods in the box for UVU. And, a couple of those were, just some frustration calls, a couple misconducts. Jeff Duran, just struggled a little bit at the game and got tossed. But 20 minutes to 42 minutes in the box, as a coach, you're not going to be real happy with that. And, BYU took advantage of the opportunities they had and, ended up on the top of the score sheet.
So BYU sweeps Utah Valley this weekend, Friday and Saturday. They're now 7-4-1 and have a 5-game winning streak.